Hi, and welcome to the EMC Storage Integrator, or ESI demo. What is ESI? It's a new tool from EMC designed to make storage provisioning easier for the Windows or Microsoft administrator. ESI uses wizards to collect information about the environment and then completes the storage configuration automatically. Today, when provisioning storage, you use multiple management tools to do things such as create storage LUNs on the array, connect to the fabric layer, present the disk to Windows, create clusters, or virtualize with Microsoft Hyper-V. Well, what if we could bridge the storage application and Windows complexity gap? With ESI, we've done this. So here we have the ESI main console built in MMC. You can see from here you can look at the storage systems, the hosts, the clusters, and applications in the environment. So let's walk through and add a storage system into our management screen. So we can specify what type of array, some details about that array, the friendly name. Go ahead and add it. It's now added into ESI for us to be able to report on and manage. We can look at all the details on that array. We can look at fiber channel, iSCSI, CIFS. We can look at file systems, shared folders, and again get all the details around the size, the paths to be able to access all this information. We support all versions of EMC storage, both current and some previous generations. So let's walk through and look at some of the wizards. So very easy to use. We're going to go ahead and set up a new disk for Windows. So give some basic information such as the name, description, size, and whether we want to use thin provisioning or not, thick or thin. So specify the size. Go ahead and give it a volume label and select a drive letter. Select next. Review our settings. Next, very simple, easy to use wizard. And now all of a sudden our disk has been created, formatted, and presented into Windows. So we can see it on the storage array. If we go over to Windows, there's our new drive. Already formatted, presented in Windows, ready to use. So let's look at some of the other wizards. We can do the same around a cluster disk. So we can go in and create a new cluster disk. Again, select the storage array that we want this created on. Select the pool off of that array, and then allow the same information. We'll give name, description, overall size, thick or thin. Go ahead and select our drive letter, give it a volume label, and go ahead and hit next. We have the option to select a clustered share volume if that's our cluster type. Review our final settings, hit next. And now we're going to have a cluster disk created in Windows, but this is actually going to also create it in the cluster manager. So now we have a disk ready to use to create a cluster on. It can be added as a cluster resource, for instance. So we see it on the storage array. Go over to cluster manager, and there's our new drive, ready to use in clustering. So let's look at some of our other wizards. We can actually come in and we can create a shared folder for our Windows environments. So we selected our array. Go ahead and select thin provisioning on this. Then we give it a basic folder name, the path. We can specify the mount path. So go ahead and specify the Y drive. Enter in credentials for mounting to this shared folder. We'll review our settings. Go ahead and hit finish. And now we're going to have our CIFS shared folder created. It's going to mount it in Windows. And it's done. So go over to Windows, we look, there's our Y drive. Now some other things we can do is actually follow some wizards for application creation. So it's not just about setting up storage, but it's actually creating applications specific for storage. So let's go ahead and do a SharePoint farm. We'll specify a local SharePoint farm. We have our Redmond SharePoint farm. We can look at this and see that we've got our collection name, content database is already there. We'll look at the storage for it, and for this database, everything is stored locally. So let's go ahead and select the wizard for our SharePoint wizard. So what we're going to do is go ahead and enter in some information to create a new SharePoint farm. So we've selected the firm we're going to use. We'll specify our IIS website name, the capacity. Server's already selected. We'll enter a database name, and then we can specify drive letters for the data files and for the log files. Go through and enter in some login credentials, so we can choose from different types of login types, from local to network administrators' accounts. Enter in the password information. We can also specify the SQL Server database credentials we want to use. We'll select next. And then from here, we'll be able to select our storage system that we're going to create this on, our storage pool that's available for us. Review our settings, go ahead and hit next, and now we're going to create it. So it's going to create the backend storage, allocate that storage into Windows, create the SharePoint site, and place all of that, the new database, SQL database, all following best practices for creating SharePoint on storage. So let's go ahead and look. On our storage side, we've got the new database name. Look at the details. We can see that the specified drive letters are there. If we go to the web application, we've got our new web app. We can look at the information again. It's using the database we need. And if we go into SharePoint, we refresh, there's our database, our SharePoint site. So all very easy to use wizards in ESI. Thank you.